Okay, so I know how it looks. You read the title, you seen the thumbnails, and things ain't really adding up. How can Ahsoka deserve better, but the show still get an 8 out of 10 G-File score? Well, I'm explaining it in this video. But let me start off by saying this. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this show, but there's some key things that I just really was not a fan of. And if you're an avid watcher of the Why I'm Geek show, you already know how I've been feeling about this show. Like, I really like it, but for the first half of the show, bro, it was just missing the drama. And really, I'm gonna just have to attribute it to Rosario Dawson's approach to Ahsoka in this series. I mean, I don't really know what was going on or like why they made this decision to make Ahsoka kind of just like dry.
I don't get it.
It really feels like the influence of The Mandalorian has taken a toll on like just the whole Star Wars universe at this point, because her performance just seemed like it was on autopilot, like no real emotion. And it just left me frustrated because I know Rosario Dawson is not a bad actor. And even if it was intentional, it just didn't scream Ahsoka to me. I just found myself like wondering like, yo, what am I looking at right now? But that wasn't even the biggest issue, because yes, the show is called Ahsoka, but the show really should have been called Star Wars Rebels Season 5, because the amount of time that we spend focusing on other characters early on in the show had me hyped at first. I'm not gonna lie, because I love Star Wars Rebels, but this is Ahsoka, bro. So I was really confused why we were spending so much time focusing on Sabine.
I still don't get it.
It was almost like they were kind of playing the same role, which was not fun to watch. I mean, there was like no real give and take from the situation, and it was just really throwing me off in the beginning. But one thing that I will say that, you know, they always nail in Star Wars is the fights. Like, the fights for me were really good anytime we got them. I mean, we've already seen what Ahsoka could do in The Mandalorian as far as like a live action version of Ahsoka, and we've seen her journey across like the Star Wars Clone Wars saga. That is, to me, the best thing Star Wars has ever made. And then we also saw another version of Ahsoka in Star Wars Rebels, which is congruent with what's going on right now, which is why going into this series, I was super excited, but I was also hesitant because I was afraid that Ahsoka would get lost in the mix of everything that's going on, because she has no real direct ties to one, the antagonist in Thrawn, but also to Ezra, outside of the few times we got to see them together in Rebels. Ahsoka has always been this solo dolo type character, and I was really just looking for that character growth to happen throughout this series. So when we get to 4 episodes deep and the series is halfway over, still searching for that, you can start to see why I was getting a little worried, you know? But all that changed with episode 5.
You lack conviction.
Episode 5 and the finale, I will say, are something that we will continue to come back to anytime you want to have a conversation about Ahsoka, because for one, episode 5 is peak Star Wars, bro. The Anakin Skywalker reveal was everything I wanted and more. Not because it's just him and he's the GOAT and anything like that. No, it's because Ahsoka got that rebirth that she's been needing. Get her out of this cycle of just kind of going through the motions, bro. Like, I really just wanted her to show some emotion, because if you know Ahsoka from the early days of the Clone Wars till now, you know that she's been through some crazy stuff.
And now, the student will kill the master.
Thanks to series like Star Wars Rebels, we get to see how Anakin's fall from grace had really affected her and how she blamed herself.
I won't leave you. Not this time.
Then you will die.
So being able to see her fight and go through her memories and really understand who she is and who she has become was really cool to see. But moments like that were like few and far between in this series, and after finishing it, it just really had me really wanting more, but not in the sense of like, oh man, that was really good, but more in the sense of like, dang, like it just wasn't enough. But outside of the main character and going more into the main storyline, I feel like if you're an avid watcher of Star Wars and everything that they put out, this show was very telegraphed. Everybody knew the path that we were going to go on. It was going to lead to Thrawn escaping exile and returning to the world of Star Wars. So with the writing kind of being on the wall, I focused a lot more on the other storylines that were happening, which I think will end up being the more impactful things that happen in this series moving forward. Because even though the show is only 8 episodes, they covered a lot. They showed the state of the New Republic and how there's still remnants of the old empire still strong within their ranks, leading up to like even high ranking officials and things like that. And also new storylines covering new characters like Lord Balin, who's in search of something darker on the planet, which I'm excited to see because it'll most likely be the plot for season 2 of this show. But outside of Easter eggs like that and getting reunited with characters like Ezra, who I gotta say actually grew on me, because initially I was just like, the Ezra reveal was not it. Like, that jump was pretty mid, but the show really made up for all of those things when it came to the finale. Because to me, I think the main takeaways from this series is sacrifices.
No, Ron, no! What is it? Going to sacrifice himself?
Both sides of the conflict had to make some major sacrifices to basically save the series, because if this series ended with a happily ever after, I would have been so upset. I need to see some consequences to these dumb decisions that some of these characters be making, right? But if it wasn't for some of those sacrifices, like Morgan Elsbeth staying behind to end up fighting Ahsoka, like, they wouldn't get epic moments like Ezra's jump onto Thrawn's ship.
Oh, hell no.
I'm not doing that, bro. No, man.
Or even the reveal of the Night Troopers, which are freaking zombie stormtroopers, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, these things that happen in the show are really cool, but it's the writing around it that had me just like, bro, this could be so much better. But I don't know, bro. I still feel like this series was a success because they accomplished 2 things. The first one being they gave us not only a big bad, but also a hero to reignite the Star Wars movie franchise, right? Like, we've been fiending for something for a long time now.
I need it!
But also we got to see Ahsoka's rebirth and her face her trauma head on to becoming the character that we always knew her to be. And now there's a new fight, because if you know anything about Ahsoka and the daughter, that space owl popped up at the end, so that means that there's gonna be something crazy going on in season 2, because she is right where she needs to be. If Ahsoka and Sabine had made it on this shit, bro, this series would have fallen so flat. But because of that, we're gonna get to see wherever Lord Balin finds at the face of that mountain with the father and the son, bro. Like, oh my gosh, the lore runs deep. To me, despite the hiccups that we get to see in the story, I still think it was pretty good and something I would like to revisit in the future. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next video. Y'all be easy on the vibes. Always keep growing, keep going. It's my boy G, and I'm gone. Peace.